All right, let's get into it. We're about to unpack one of the most brutal rivalries in history, the War of the Currents. This isn't just a story about electricity. It's about two incredible geniuses, a seriously vicious feud, and the battle that literally shaped the world we live in today. And when we say a savage war, we mean it. This was not some friendly competition between colleagues. No way. The battle between Thomas Edison and Nikola Tesla became this vicious, absolutely unrelenting feud. It went way beyond a simple technical disagreement. It got personal, and it got really, really ugly. You know, this whole conflict is actually known as the very first and probably the nastiest standards war ever. Think about it. On one side, you've got direct current, or DC, and that's Edison's baby. On the other side, you have alternating current, AC, backed by Tesla. And the fight to decide which one would power the future, well, it was waged with crazy public spectacles, absolutely ruthless tactics, and a ton of fear-mongering. And to really hammer that fear home, the celebrated inventor, Thomas Edison himself, did something pretty horrific. He staged these gruesome public demonstrations. I'm talking about publicly electrocuting animals, dogs, calves, even a horse, all using his rival's alternating current. His goal? To brand AC as the killer current in everybody's mind, from the average person to the politicians making the laws. So you have to ask, right? Why would a celebrated inventor, a guy we all learn about in school as a hero of innovation, resort to tactics this brutal? I mean, it's pretty shocking. To figure that out, we really need to get inside the heads of the two titans at the very center of this whole thing. Okay, so on one side, you've got Thomas Edison. He's the ultimate pragmatist, methodical, and grounded. And on the other, Nikola Tesla, the intuitive, almost otherworldly visionary. I mean, both men were absolute geniuses, but their ideas about how to invent things, well, they were from completely different planets. Edison's whole philosophy was firmly planted in the real world. His method was all about relentless, disciplined trial and error, and he was laser-focused on one thing above all else. Could it be commercialized? And fast. He put it best himself. Anything that won't sell, I don't want to invent. Simple as that. Tesla, though, he was the complete opposite, a pure conceptual thinker. He claimed, and this is wild, that he could build, test, and even refine entire complex inventions just in his mind, before ever picking up a single tool. He couldn't care less about next quarter's sales figures. Nah, he was focused on these massive, transformational ideas that he believed would literally reshape the entire world. And if you look at their backgrounds, it all makes perfect sense. Edison was a self-educated entrepreneur. He only had about 3 months of formal schooling. He learned by doing, by tinkering, and by selling. Tesla, on the other hand, was this formally trained, university-educated theoretical thinker. For him, innovation wasn't about trial and error. It was about these elegant, beautiful leaps of pure insight. So, in 1884, these two completely different worlds finally collided. Tesla shows up at Edison's office in Manhattan, holding this incredible letter of introduction. It said something like, "My dear Edison, I know 2 great men, and you are one of them. The other is this young man." I mean, talk about a recommendation. But their partnership was pretty much doomed from the start. It only lasted a grand total of 6 months. And here's how it all fell apart. It's actually a pretty infamous story. Edison offered Tesla what was then a fortune, $50,000, to completely redesign and improve his inefficient DC generators. Tesla, being Tesla, worked day and night and pulled it off. So he goes to Edison to collect, and what does Edison do? He just laughs it off. He told Tesla he didn't understand American humor. As you can imagine, Tesla was not amused. He quit right there on the spot. And just like that, the stage was set for one of the biggest rivalries in science. So what started as a personal dispute, a broken promise, quickly blew up into a full-blown technological war. This was now a battle for everything, for the fundamental way electricity was going to be delivered to every single home and business, not just in America, but across the entire globe. Okay, so here's the core of the fight. Edison was all in on direct current, or DC. Just think of it like a battery. The electricity flows in just one direction. The big problem, it couldn't really travel much more than a mile before losing power. Then you had Tesla, who was now backed by the industrialist George Westinghouse. They were championing alternating current, or AC. AC was way more efficient over long distances, which made it absolutely perfect for powering a huge country. Now, faced with what was arguably a better technology, Edison, well, he didn't try to innovate. He doubled down on his fear campaign. And it got even worse.
He wasn't just electrocuting animals anymore. He secretly paid an activist to go around promoting the so-called dangers of AC. And get this, he even lobbied to make sure his competitor's AC system was used to build the very first electric chair. Also, he could try to permanently link the name Westinghouse with death.
But the tide was about to turn. Despite that massive smear campaign, Westinghouse and Tesla landed a huge contract to illuminate the entire 1893 Chicago World's Fair. They lit up the whole thing, the famous White City, with AC power. It was magnificent. And it proved to the whole world that AC could be scaled up safely and cheaply. This was a massive public victory and a huge turning point in the war. So you'd think that's the end of the story, right? Tesla wins. But winning the technical battle doesn't always mean you win in life, especially for a visionary like Tesla. See, his AC standard had won the war, but his own personal future, well, it was about to take a really tragic turn. Riding high on his victory, Tesla managed to secure a huge investment, $150,000, from none other than the legendary financier J.P. Morgan. And this money was for his next big dream, a gigantic tower out on Long Island called Wardenclyffe. And its purpose? To transmit not just information, but power, wirelessly, all around the globe. I mean, the man was just so far ahead of his time, it's almost unbelievable. He told Morgan that his world system would let a businessman in New York dictate instructions and have them instantly appear in type in an office in London. He literally said the entire Earth would be converted into a huge brain. It sounds like science fiction, but this is what he was trying to build. But it just wasn't meant to be. Just as he was building, his rival, Marconi, managed to send the first wireless radio signal across the Atlantic. And, to add insult to injury, Tesla claimed Marconi used 17 of his patents to do it. Well, that was it. Investors panicked, J.P. Morgan pulled his funding, and the huge unfinished tower just stood there. It became known as Tesla's million-dollar folly, a giant rusting symbol of his most crushing defeat. And Edison? Oh, Edison thrived. While Tesla was dreaming these grand, world-changing dreams, Edison was busy building empires. He created his innovation factories to basically turn invention into a systematic business. He built the entire commercial framework to deliver power. He even formed something called the Edison Trust, which was basically a monopoly that controlled the entire early film industry. His relentless focus on business and control is what cemented his legacy and his massive fortune. Okay, so why are we talking about a 140-year-old story? What's really fascinating is how this whole thing is more relevant today than ever. That fundamental tension, right, between the pragmatist and the visionary, between slow, disciplined improvement and the giant, crazy leap. That is still the central drama playing out in the tech world right now. Because what this whole rivalry really shows us is a fundamental truth about innovation. You absolutely need the Tesla, the visionary who can break through all the old ways of thinking and imagine something completely new. But you also need the Edison, the practical, market-focused mind that can refine it, scale it, and actually get that new technology into people's hands. And if you look at the most successful companies today, what do you see? They don't pick one style, they blend them. Just think about Apple. You had Steve Jobs' insane visionary leaps, but that was combined with a company culture of constant, relentless refinement. Or think about SpaceX. You have Elon Musk's absolutely grand vision of going to Mars, but it's executed through thousands of hours of disciplined, data-driven testing and improvement. So, what's the big takeaway from all this? Maybe the greatest lesson from this whole savage tale is that asking who wins, the visionary or the pragmatist, is just the wrong question. Real, lasting breakthroughs, they almost never come from just one or the other. They come from that powerful and, yeah, often really difficult combination of both. So the real question isn't which one is better. It's, in a world that desperately needs both, which one are you?